Today, we were hoping to put out a video about Day 7 of our West Highland Way. Instead, we have to tell you why we were unable to finish it. Constant flexibility is always essential in travel, but it may never have come in quite this handy.
After battling blisters all summer long on the Camino Inglés and the coast-to-coast trek before the West Highland Way, we took off a few days in York and Edinburgh to let my feet get better. I thought that would be sufficient, but walking day after day in the rain was making keeping the existing blisters dry a real challenge. However, we were making our best effort and thought we'd be able to get through. Every night I would put my feet up as soon as we got to the hotel. Molly would care for all the blisters, then I would let them air out completely all night, bandage them up the next morning, and off we would go. In addition to the feet issues, I had been battling a virus that caused a sore throat and congestion since day 3 of this trek. You can hear that my voice wasn't right as I talked on these videos. We're having a brief moment of decent weather here, so we're trying to get out early so we can get as much of this stretch done before the weather hits as we can. We just passed 2 miles. The ground that we've been walking on is really tough. And it sounds like this is what it's like most of the way today. Which, if you look at it, it's like pretty jagged rocks firmly embedded in the ground, so there's no give. Which my feet are not good, so that's bad. And then, new update to share is that in addition to all the blisters on my right foot, now I have athlete's foot because we've been walking in wet boots for a while. So that combination is a real winner. I had been fighting sickness and blister pain since day 3 of our West Highland Way hike, but on day 6 of our trek, both advanced to new levels. When we arrived at the King's house, I really felt bad, with one spot on my right foot feeling like something was stabbing it with each step, and my energy levels at rock bottom. I thought it was possible that I had an infected blister and blamed how bad I was feeling on that. I also thought that a warm meal and hot tea at the King's house would make me feel better. Unfortunately, the King's House restaurant was having computer and staffing issues, and it took an hour and a half just to get some cold food and a small drink. This did not help my situation. I was falling apart pretty rapidly. I tried to take a hot bath in our room, but I didn't even have the energy to get clean. At that point, we decided to take a cab into Fort William and visit a pharmacy for some better antibiotic cream. I could barely stand to get in the taxi, but we were finally on our way to Fort William at about 5:30 in the afternoon.
Sometimes you get lucky and meet an angel along your way, and this was what happened to us that night. The only taxi that would drive all the way from Fort William to the King's house required a 2-hour wait. It was worth it because William, the driver, was just who we needed for the next 3 days. He took one look at my mom and stated that he was taking us to the A&E, not a pharmacy. The A&E is basically urgent care in the UK. It was a 50-minute drive to Fort William, and it passed right through the scenery that we were hoping to walk through over the next 2 days. Not that we were really in a state where we could enjoy it. Once we got to the A&E, we were seen within 30 minutes by a nurse practitioner. As it turns out, my mom was severely dehydrated and had an infected blister and an infected ear, which is not what you want to hear in the middle of a hike. They treated her foot, gave her antibiotics, and injected her with a couple of bags of IV fluids. They also gave us food and drinks and lots of great advice. We were there for at least 2 hours, and the total charge was $0. Even better, William waited for us without charging us for the wait, and took us back to the King's house. The good news was that my mom was already on the way to getting better. The bad news was that our hike was over, and I, and eventually Leanne, ended up getting the virus that led to ear issues. Thankfully, Leanne didn't get it until she had finished with the hike.
We spent the rest of that night and the next day resting with my foot up, hoping for quick healing so that maybe we could still climb Ben Nevis. William came back to get us at checkout time the next day and took us to our next hotel in Kinlochleven. When you're hiking the West Highland Way, it seems like you're in the middle of nowhere, but you're not really. If you look at this footage, you can see a road running through the valley. This road, the A82, runs near the trek for the entire way, so you're never that far from rescue, whether it's for the day or for serious medical care. Towns with clinics are a little harder to find, but you're never more than a 90-minute drive from Glasgow or Fort William, and the care I received in Fort William was very good.
Here is our room in Kinlochleven. The view from our window, which is pretty much all we've seen of Kinlochleven, because I have an infected foot that has made me feel surprisingly bad, and also a cold. But eventually it will get better.
The following morning, we saw that my mom's swelling had spread up her ankle, so we made a follow-up visit to the A&E. There, they rewrapped my mom's foot with smaller and stronger bandages and made sure she wasn't dehydrated anymore. She still had the virus, but they could only treat the symptoms.
It's down there. Keep going.
We were very happy that we made it out of the A&E in time to watch Leanne finish.
She did it!
Clearly, this is not how we were hoping for a West Highland Way to turn out. Unfortunately, injury is a very prominent risk in long-distance hiking, one that spoils thousands of trips every year, and we had to face it. Now, we just had to figure out what a person who can barely walk does in Fort William, Scotland. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.